We're on.
So you want to always be looking.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Maggie Klein of the Pelham Weekly and Pelham Plus, and we're talking with Doffy Voorhis, who has lived in Pelham a long, long time. And we're going to talk about her memories of her childhood growing up in Pelham. And Doffy is going to start by telling us how she got her nickname Doffy.
Okay, my name really is Dorothy, but my father said, we will not have this child called Dottie, because Dottie means you're batty, the weak in the head. So they thought over various nicknames that my mother had been called and decided on Doffy. And many, many years later, it's still my name. And I was born Doffy Voorhis, and we came to Pelham in 1931. My family had lived down in Greenwich Village, but with a couple of little children, they decided they needed to be out in the country where there were good schools rather than in a third and fourth floor apartment in the city. So we came to Pelham Manor, and they bought a house on Pelham Manor Road, which was a nice quiet street because the second block of it was dead end, and it's still dead end. And they bought a 4-bedroom house with a nice yard, and we always had, in those days, of course you did, we always had a live-in maid, which those things I don't think exist anymore. But
So there was you and
I had
sisters?
2 sisters, and I was the middle one. So many times as the middle one, I had to be the mediator. But anyway, we grew up there on Pelham Manor Road, which was a neat place to live because most of the houses had children our age, and we could play kickball in the street because there was not that much traffic. And we went down to Simon High School. And back in those days, there were few enough children in the schools that Miss Coleman was the principal in both Simonite and Colonial. She could handle 2 schools. She was a very forceful lady. But anyway, we had things like Girl Scouts, and my mother was head of the Girl Scouts, so we certainly better enroll. And
Now living at home with your mother was home.
Oh, of course.
And you had deliveries of...
Back in those days, the milkman came. Of course, I don't know, Sheffield milk or whatever it was. But when I was little, really little, the milk truck came, it was pulled by a horse. And I don't know, really, I don't think that lasted very long. They finally motorized it. But the milk came every other day, whatever. And a couple of times a week, there was a bread truck that came in the afternoon. And you not only could get bread, but when we got to be teenagers, we would kind of intercept the bread delivery man and get him to give us a coffee cake or cupcakes or whatever we wanted. My mother not knowing we were doing this until the bill came at the end of the month. And also there was the vegetable man that came with a truck with all kinds of vegetables and fruit on it. And because he came regularly, when he'd say to my mother, oh, I've got string beans, he wouldn't have to ask her how much she needed. He knew how many string beans or how many broccoli, whatever she wanted. He knew the amount because he was used to delivering to that family. He probably knew all his families. And the other one that was a regular, well, my mother didn't drive, so she had all these things. Once a week, the laundry van came and picked up the dirty sheets and brought back the clean ones, and my father's shirts. All happened at the back door. We didn't have to go anywhere. And, life was days. It just sat there. People came.
Now, when you would walk downtown to Pelham Village, what was it like downtown when you were a teenager?
Oh, well, we went to the Four Corners
Oh, you went to Four Corners.
because there was, well, I can remember back when there was an A&P, and when you walked in, there were the loose cookies in the bin, and they sold the cookies by the pound. And if you came in with children, they usually would give you one cookie free to kind of lure you in. But also during World War II, when gas was rationed, I would go down in the afternoon on my bicycle with a big basket to get the groceries and the bicycle. And my pay for doing this would be I could stop at what was then a Barnow's Pharmacy in the corner and get an ice cream cone, which I think cost a nickel. But that was my pay for doing the grocery shopping.
Now, was Huguenot Church there at the time?
Yes, but we went to Christchurch, down at the end of the thing. And during World War II, we went on the bus all the way down. Well, I think originally it was a trolley. So the old Toonerville trolley, which is a cartoon these days, whatever. But it was, the trolley came down, when the trolley got to the Four Corners, the trolley man would have to get out to switch the lever in the tracks as to whether the trolley was going to New Rochelle or going on down Elmdale to the end. We had to flip the old thing. And that's really going back. But there were enough things down Four Corners. I mean, there was a grocery, got to be the Grand Union, which is down the CVS. And the pharmacy and stuff that was just right there. And there was a stationery store on Lippy's around the corner. And but if you went the other way for big treats, I forgot about this. We went down to the middle of Pelham Heights to the Party Package, which was an ice cream store, where they made their own hot fudge sauce.
And what's there now? What's that location?
Oh, well, I can't think. It's probably where Rockwell's is now. I mean, it was. No, it'd be further down. It would be where on. Oh, the little cafe that's. It was. You're coming from the movies, and there's a cafe that's on the corner. I mean, I don't know.
J Cafe and
whatever, but
Cafe.
but there used to be. It was the Party Package ice cream place.
So you remember the ice cream places?
Oh, of course.
Those were the. How about Lane's for ice cream?
Well, this was before Lane's. Then Lane's was.
That's now Bellagio's.
Right. But Lane's was there all during high school, and what I mentioned to Maggie earlier was the kids in high school, once they got into high school, they were allowed, when they had free periods, they could leave the high school. And when my third child got old enough to go, and she started the first time she was free, and she went over to Lane's, and her big brother just looked at her and said, "This is my territory. Keep out." I mean, people had their spots in Lane's.
Now Lane's was not until the 60s, 50s?
This would have been the 70s.
70s.
Just how long.
Now, how about your husband? When did he come to Pelham?
Oh.
Baird Voorhis.
Right. I moved to Pelham in 1931, and I used to tease Baird because his family didn't move to Pelham until 1937, that he was a newcomer.
And you met him at Simon?
No, where he lived, it was, he went to Colonial, but then he went on, he and all of his siblings went into Manhattan to schools like Collegiate and Lenox, because their mother felt that they had to get that private school education touch added. And
So you graduated from Pelham High School.
My sisters and I graduated from Pelham High School.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1947. And we had one of those freaky classes. It was a little bit bigger than it should have been because there were some of the boys had been in the service in World War II and had gone in before they had graduated from high school. And when they got out of service, they had to get back into high school and get their English credits or whatever and play in the football team. So it kind of bulks the class, but not by much. And back in those days, the senior prom was held in the high school gym after graduation.
After?
Yes, graduation was early in the evening, and then there was the prom. And it was right there in the school, so somehow they had more control over what we might be doing at the prom.
And, okay, well, it's quite fascinating to bring us up to date on everything in Pelham over quite a period of time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.